Hello everyone, and welcome back to tomorrow's weather today. Today we are going to be talking about the upcoming pattern for the next about 2 weeks. Um, because there's not really a lot going on in the weather today. There is some severe weather, only marginal risks at most. So I don't really see there being a significant amount of severe weather after yesterday. Um, but let's talk about the upcoming patterns. Um, for the next 6 to 10 days, most of the United States will be above average except for the southeast and the northwest, as we do have a trough that will be setting up in the northwest. Otherwise, mostly above average temperatures. And precipitation going to be dry for most of the United States, with some pockets, especially in the northern U.S. and the mid-Atlantic and southern Florida, could be seeing some above average precipitation in the next 6 to 10 days. In the 8 to 14 day forecast, you can see most of America is then above average, and then a part of the northern plains in the Dakotas, Montana, part of Wyoming could be seeing below average temperatures. And looking at precipitation for the next 2 weeks, we could be seeing above average precipitation for the Northeast, going over to uh, the Great Lakes and over into Colorado, and then below average temperatures for most of the South and for most of the Northwest, except for part of California. Looking at our surface chart for today, we can see that our frontal system giving us severe weather yesterday has lifted off into the Hudson Bay, with a cold front extending down, with two cold fronts actually extending down, and then a frontal system down in South Carolina, with a cold front that goes all the way through the Gulf. So most of this area is being dominated by high pressure. It looks like a little clipper system coming in, but mostly high pressure dominating the U.S. And looking at our satellite for today, we could see this first cold front and then this other cold front, which will be stalling out in this general area. That's why I think we're going to be seeing below average temperatures for the southeast. But you can see how high pressure is taking over with the flow, and there's very little cloud cover, meaning there's dry sinking air, indicative of high pressure. Going over to the GFS model, as the pattern is right now, we can see a trough in the Great Lakes, a ridge to its east and the west, and we can see a trough coming in to the west. Take this ahead, about 72 forecast is hour 72, so 3 days. That trough is building into the west. Why we're gonna have below average temperatures? That ridge is building into the northern plains, and we can see the below average temperatures down in the south too, associated with this trough that will begin to become a cutoff low, and bring our below average temperatures for the southeast. And the reason why we're having above average temperatures above it is because of this ridge. Taking this ahead, this pattern persists through next week, with the ridging for most of the United States and the two troughs. That trough moves out, and then ridging builds back in, and then that trough stays out in the west, but it's starting to move towards the east and combines with this bigger trough up to the north, but stays to the north. And towards the end of this run, we got mostly zonal flow, but ridging in the east, ridging in the west, and a little bit of a trough in the middle of it. So what's gonna be with our temperatures? 850 millibar temp anomalies. You know I like to use this because it takes out of the daytime heating, and other processes that happen at the surface. So this is right above the ground, about 5,000 feet. We can see we have below average temperatures in the central United States, above average for the east and the west. taking this out to forecast hour 72, we can see a lot of below average temperatures for the eastern United States for this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And same goes for the west too, because we had those two troughs there. Now you can see the below average temperature starting to back southward, and that's associated with that cutoff low. You see that move southward, and then these above average temperatures starts to slide into the northeast as that moves down and the ridge builds in. Here's our trough again in the west, and then our ridging for the most part in the east. And then it looks like maybe a cold front right in there. Um, kind of looks like a cold front to me with the warm air ahead of it and then the cold air behind. And then above average temperatures for most of the United States. Now let's look at our precipitation and what might happen. This might not happen, especially towards the later end of this run, but it's possible. You can see our high pressure system right in here, dominating most of the western 2/3. Here's our system from yesterday, bringing in that cold front all the way down here, and another one that's back a little farther. Here's that high pressure system that's going to bring below average temperatures for the eastern United States, and it's going to begin to drop southward. You can see, actually, you can see our trough in the temperature lines here. You can see that trough kind of right in there. And then there's kind of like a cutoff low right in here, an upper level low. And the GFS is hinting at something tropical trying to develop off the coast. I will keep an eye on this. The NHC has not designated anything. Actually, as of right now, we have a 10% chance in the MDR, the main development region, for tropical cyclone activity. It's a tropical wave. It's not expected to develop significantly, but definitely some gusty winds and heavy rains for the Leeward Islands. Taking this ahead, there's that high pressure, which is going to help bring in the heat for the eastern United States. And then we have a cold high pressure coming in behind this cold front right here associated with this low pressure system up in Canada, which will be bringing cooler air to the western United States. And then by the end of this, here's our high pressure out to Bermuda, which would be bringing in hot temperatures for the eastern United States. Looking at our jet stream at 250 millibars, we can see our high pressure system off the eastern coast. Here's that trough, and here's that ridge with another trough right behind it. This upper level trough begins to dive downward as this one builds into the west, and that giant ridge building into the Midwest, the central United States. Here's that cutoff low that I was talking about, bringing below average temperatures for the southeast. And then that ridge that really starts to build in. And then this upper level low might give some below average temperatures for Texas. And then that trough kind of persists as a ridge builds into the east. And looking at our forecast hour 354, which is about 2 weeks, you can see the overall patterns kind of like that, with a ridge in the east, trough in the central and the west, and a little bit of a ridge building back into the west. So overall, I pretty much agree with the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, with their temperatures. Oh, and let's just go to the end of this and look at our total accumulated precipitation. So according to the GFS, The highest is going to be in the Mid-Atlantic. Zero rain for the Southwest United States and Arizona, California, Nevada, and Utah. A lot of rain up in the north. Very little rain in Texas and Alabama, but a good 1 inch, half an inch to an inch for most of the northern United States into the northeast. So that is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a new video. Um, and comment down below. Do you like the summer? Do you like the summer heat or do you like winter? Thank you all for watching.